Hello and welcome to Mabila TV. This is home of Providence Conservatism, where we advocate for a fine balance between individual creative genius excellence as afforded by capitalism and society excellence as afforded by equality of opportunity. So in essence, we are calling for capitalism with a human first, that is capitalism with a human first. So now, this is Africa Perspectives, and in Africa Perspectives, I'm asking if DR Congo is worth $30 trillion. Why is the country so poor? That is, if DR Congo is worth $30 trillion, why is the country so poor? So basically, DR Congo, basically a country in Central Africa, was Belgian property. Of course, you had in 1884 the European leaders. 13 European powers plus the United States sat down and demarcated Africa among themselves. So they designated that DR Congo will be the property of Belgium, not even the property of Belgium, but of Belgian King Leopold. So basically, Belgian King Leopold was thought to be the one owning DR Congo as his personal property. And I think about 10 million Congolese were killed when they failed to meet their rubber quota. So of course they were killed as if it was some kind of sport. And this genocide has not been highlighted for a very, very long time. This genocide of a Congolese native when they failed to meet their rubber quota. So DR Congo is rich in mineral resources. I think archaeologists said it was really an accident that DR Congo found itself with so much mineral potential. I think it has a mineral potential of $30 trillion according to the CIA fact book. So imagine that DR Congo has a mineral potential of $30 trillion. So basically, but why is the country so poor? So DR Congo has minerals such as titanium, coltan, cobalt, oil, copper, uranium, and of course water, and of course not forgetting the forest and the good agricultural climate. So basically DR Congo has everything it needs, but why is the country so poor? I will proceed that basically the country has to remove, that is DR Congo basically does not add value to its minerals as much of Africa does, not just DR Congo but much of Africa. We do tend to export very raw materials. We do tend to export raw materials, and I think that is how Africa does not add value. For instance, copper exported from Uganda to France creates 13 times more, to Italy creates 13 times more jobs in Italy than it does in Uganda. So you can imagine. So we need to add value to our mineral resources. So that will only happen. The $30 trillion will only be gotten to DR Congo when it converts titanium to aeroplane parts, when it converts uranium to nuclear power, when it converts copper to electronics, when it converts gold and diamonds to jewelry, when it converts cocoa to chocolate, when it converts coffee to coffee drinking chains, when it converts river Congo to hydroelectric power to power the whole of Africa. If it converts coltan and cobalt to mobile phones and computers and of course electric cars, that's the only way for these mineral resources to be of immense help to DR Congo. And I would think that basically DR Congo has then to add value to its minerals. But how does it do that? I think it has to have focused leaders that are not beholden to the West. Of course, according to an interview in one of the international stations, you heard that the former president of DR Congo, Joseph Kabila, is worth $18 billion. That is Joseph Kabila. That is worth that is $18 billion, but that's because that's according to Panama Papers. Of course, that was said by the former opposition leader, Martin Fayulu. So you have this Congolese former president, DR Congo former president Joseph Kabila being worth $18 billion. trillion. That's according to the former opposition leader, Martin Fayulu, who in turn had quoted the Panama Papers. So I think for DR Congo then, the trick is to have focused leaders that are not beholden to the Western powers. I think since independence, you had the independence leader, Prime Minister, Patrice Lumumba was assassinated for merely calling that the mineral resources of DR Congo should benefit the people of DR Congo. And that country has known no peace ever since independence. I think at independence, DR Congo had only about 2 doctors and 9 engineers to cover the whole country. So I think Belgium was not prepared to hand over independence to DR Congo. And I think that country still faces that country, I think, still faces that country still faces that kind of not preparation for independence. So I think the country could be the model. It could be the richest country in the world because the United States economy is about the United States economy, I think, is the United States economy, I think, is about $20 trillion. Then the Chinese economy is about $17 trillion. But DR Congo, the mineral potential of DR Congo is worth $30 trillion. So you can imagine that is a very, very huge amount of wealth that is just going down the drain because the country does not have focused leaders. You have neighboring countries such as Uganda's Yoweri Museveni and, of course, Rwanda's Paul Kagame. They have been accused that they are pilfering away the wealth of DR Congo. So I will say that basically what Africa needs to do is basically to just focus on how does Africa then have focused leaders. I don't think we got independence at all. That's the truth. The truth of the matter is that Africa never got independence. What we had are puppets. What we have are puppets, leaders who are going to sing to the tune of the Western nations. And basically, these are the Western nations. Look at the whole world, how they are clamoring for semiconductors. China and the United States, they are basically in a race for semiconductors. But these semiconductors, those mineral resources are gotten from DR Congo. And yet there is not a single factory in DR Congo. It is processed in Taiwan, in China. With China being the leader in semiconductor production. So why is it that they have no mineral resources for this new information age? Yet it is DR Congo that has these mineral resources, and yet DR Congo does not have a single mobile phone factory, does not have a single computer factory. And I think what we need to do then is to have Africa, I think, is to have DR Congo that is perhaps at a country that has to elect its own leaders. There was no purpose of independence at all. I don't think we ever got independent. There was no purpose of independence at all. The Congolese leaders are all beholden to Western interests. I don't think there is any. Look at Mobutu Sese Seko. He sold off DR Congo. He killed, I think he was the one who was the leader of the intelligence at that time, and he helped kill Patrice Lumumba and then became president himself. Of course, he was installed by America, so you can't see how very much. And I think even the killing of Patrice Lumumba, you had CIA participating. So even as these rich countries enjoy their wealth, that wealth has been begotten because of the minerals that are plucked off from DR Congo. So I would think that for now, I think that for now, the mineral resources of DR Congo have to help the Congolese people, and I think that's how we can maintain. That's how DR Congo can be the richest country in the world, and I think that will be the paradise that we are waiting for. We are all waiting for the paradise of DR Congo, but that country has to do more so that it can become it can become the richest country in the world, and I think surpass the United States economy of $20 trillion and surpass the Chinese economy of about that is over the Chinese economy of maybe $17 trillion, and I think the European Union economy of about $15 trillion. So I think for now, DR Congo has to do more. Let's do more technical. Let's train more petroleum engineers. Let's train more mining engineers, and then not that, let's train more manufacturing engineers, so that chemical engineers, so that they can convert these mineral resources. Then Africa Union, what's the purpose of the African Union? Why don't they come together and basically just sponsor this? If every country could just chip in 1%, if African countries could chip 1% or 5% of their budgets towards helping the Congo mine its minerals, they could get cheaper electricity. River Congo could power the whole of Africa, and this is why I say that Africa does not have focused leaders. We have leaders that are basically the worst, and I think that's how we can maintain Africa that is truly at the absolute leading edge of innovation. So we don't have money, but we also don't have the technical capacity. So I think that needs to change. So you let me know on how you think DR Congo can basically marshal its resources so that it becomes the richest country, not just in Africa, but the richest country in the world. It has the potential to be. It has the mineral resources. So let me know in the comment section. So now this has been Mabinda TV. This is home of Providence Conservatism, where we advocate for a fine balance between individual creative genius excellence and between individual creative excellence as fostered by capitalism and society excellence as fostered by equality of opportunity. So in essence, we call for capitalism with a human first, that is capitalism with a human first.